We are live. Guten Morgen, guten Tag to the www web portal. We'll start in a while. That will be in continuation to our discussion. I have some pressing points to be discussed today. So, would be stacking onto that code for the smart codes. And let's see how it goes. Putting myself on mute for a while, and then we'll start in a while. So, if you have any questions, put your questions in the chat box below and we'll look into it. Okay. Okay, hi everyone. So, this is in continuation to the discussions which we were having around sustainability in the blockchain. And most of the folks, or rather, I would say, loads of stakeholders are developing blockchain case studies according to their own sectors. Um, that itself is good enough in many ways, and in many ways, it doesn't hold any value once the understanding of blockchain is understood, because blockchain itself has loads of use case studies in terms of where it is being utilized. One definitely is the virtual part, which is cryptos, and how it is being converted into stable coins for the orchestration of the new world order. And perhaps the new world order is already there uh, in all context. However, there are very less number of candidates who have evolved to be part of the new world order at the first place or the first stance itself, because the new world order is not dependent on the citizenship, it is not dependent upon the uh, individual's identity in terms of whether it's a social security number, whether, if I talk about in context of different countries have their own ways of bifurcating, or rather the scientific nomenclature would be the right word. So the nomenclature itself is different for different individuals, and different individuals themselves are um, not in synchronicity with the understanding of what blockchain is all about. And perhaps what is important right now is to understand that the the gap which has to be bridged right now in terms of the spectrum. So at every end of the spectrum there is a new school of thought, and the new school of thought itself is creating loads of dilemma in terms of what is achievable, what has been achieved, and what can be done. And particularly in this new world order, quantum is one of the core use case studies of blockchain. And when we talk about quantum again doesn't mean that you take investment, you have these big giant machines, magnetic in nature, because magnetism itself comes with a lot of chaos. I won't say it's a good chaos or a bad chaos, it's a chaos which normal candidates won't be able normal candidates should not be even part of that protocol at the first stance itself. So let's go through. I'll walk you through some of the quantum stuff I can discuss right now in terms of IoT, blockchain, and the others.
This power of attorney itself is a very big thing, but
So let's deep dive into that. So I'll try and just contemplate this in the shortest possible time frame, and I just want to get along with other uh, course for today, because there is a couple of online arrangements. We have something with Waipu today, so there's a lot of discussion around the understanding of trade secrets, understanding of how businesses should be run in conjunction with, or the way the businesses should be run in terms of the design thinking process, uh, in the offline world, in the online world, remote, hybrid. So let's see if I can uh, balance this out in a ratio format. Of course, folks who have been part of these MBA colleges, whether it's Ivy League, non-Ivy League, short-term courses, in whatever way they have understood it, understand one thing: in the new world order, everything is blank, and when it is a blank canvas, you have to write everything, you have to code everything from the scratch itself. So still we are just scratching the surface, and at the same point of time, in deep tech itself there's a lot of codes. I'll start with First, the tagging part. Let's see if we are able to secure something in terms of the coding process and on the smart contracts, prepare the OPDs, and understanding the SWOT analysis in the best possible way, where we are killing the format of just um, taking data in terms of those jargon Google forms, questionnaire without even understanding the candidate understanding of the thought process at the first place. So I'm putting myself on mute. I'll start in a while. I need to collate the data first.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you
Okay, we are starting with the tagging process first. So there's a term called as ACL, that is Access Control List, that is under H04L63/101. Then we have address processing for routing, that is H04L45/74. For the protocol addresses, we have H04L61/5007. The measures which can be deployed for understanding the congestion of the malicious traffic in the online world. So what measures can be taken? That is under H04L63/1441. Then the measures against traffic which is involving the attacks or propagation of malware through the network. Example, the viruses, the trojans, or the worms. It is H04L63/145. Then malicious traffic service impersonation, phishing, farming, or web proofing, H04L63/1483. In addition, we need to add how to identify these candidates within the protocol itself and negate them at the determination step. That's the question we need to answer right now. Then we have protocols based on web technology, that is HTTP, it's hypertext transfer protocol, that is part of H04L63/02. For the management of the network topologies, we have H04L41/12. That being done, let's understand this. What are we trying to understand and what are we trying to obviate in terms of the modules and the sub-modules which can be prepared at the first instance itself. Okay, so there's something called a CDN, which I'm not getting into, but what is important here is every network has its unique protocol address, and organizations, enterprises, companies, government agencies, stakeholders, civil society are assigned with their own unique address or a range of protocol addresses, and the same hold truths. So a lot of www work is impersonated, illustrating something which doesn't even exist. So those are the sites one needs to identify, and these network nodes cannot fake its protocol addresses to somebody else's official protocol address due to the way the orchestration has been done in the network at the first instance itself, understanding the routing mechanisms. So let's deep dive into this and how it is being mitigated. I'll look into the figures first. Okay, seems okay. How to evaluate? Zoom in. Okay, when there's a trusted network address, one needs to identify the communication properties associated with the same, that is allowing the communication at the first instance itself, and then determining the IP address corresponding to the network communication. Once this is done, there's another determination which is tagged as the first communication property that is associated with the network communication. Then there is determination of a second communication property that is in cognizance of the communication property associated with I would say a number of protocol addresses as and when required. Now the determination has to be whether or not the first communication property is encompassed by the second communication property, then providing indication of allowing the network for the communication purpose. And then there's a return. There's not a stop here. So we have these client devices. Client devices can be, I would rather say client devices or perhaps client machines also, because Generally, if you have a desktop which is huge enough, it cannot be carried, so it cannot be called as a device at the first instance itself. Then we have online services, questionable network node. So this is the uh, understanding here. So let's look into it. Okay. Um, for data storage, we have the SQL and stuff. Then there's programming languages, which can be multiple depending upon what programming languages or network is being deployed. Then we have messaging client, messaging server, evaluation module. That's one of my favorite modules. Submodules is something I relate with. So this is something you need to look into. Then we have Roam and BIOS. Um, then what is this all about? TCP, IP stack, local database. Okay. Anti-phishing module. And then, okay. Okay, I'll give you a scenario here and an event, which is actual event in the past. The candidate was identified as a malicious node. Now, what is that candidate doing at the first instance? Utilizing the dark web to create email IDs, to create a persona of a journalist, to create a persona of different entities, to hoard something from some other entity. Now, when we take this example into the reality and identify that candidate as malicious node, what needs to be done is the question we are trying to answer. Simplification is a smart contract, deploying it with the protocol of the historical data set of the candidate. Because if you deploy the historical data set of the candidate with the environmental factors, that is done in the online world with the assistance of DAO. And that's how it should work at the first place itself. And that takes care, and that's the beauty of the DAO, which is decentralized autonomous organizations globally working towards the justice system in real time, or perhaps in a futuristic way of delving into this. So here we have something called as a list, which is called as a whitelist, and the other one is an evaluation module. Then there is client outbound communication, client inbound communication, and yeah, so let's go through the whitelist first. Okay, now let's try and understand the data source. The protocol address, the port number, category code are stored in a file, database, or a data source that identifies network nodes and the files which are valid or otherwise trusted. So trust is one of the bases of the blockchain, and trust has to be with full honesty as to what is the problem statement being resolved. Then we have data source is sometimes referred to as whitelist. Data source itself is taken as a whitelist, so I'll also write it down. We have whitelist as data source. Okay. A whitelist is generally distinct from a blacklist. I mean, for the longest time, there has been a definition around what blacklist is all about, or somebody is blacklisted, or the company is blacklisted from even bidding for anything and everything. Even candidates are blacklisted from reapplying for the visa. Candidates are blacklisted from reapplying for the passport and the like. So that kind of data set can be taken into consideration as far as the DAO is concerned. Okay. There was a glitch. Anyhow, so we are understanding whitelist and the blacklist, which is identifying the addresses, nodes, data sources, and other information that is to be blocked, otherwise trusted. Whitelist used in certain embodiments does not include the protocol addresses of any unauthorized network nodes or any anonymous proxy servers. Okay, now the whitelist is a subset of Lana, whose is database. You can just go to WHOIS database where you can see the ownership of the, not the ownership, but just the purchase of the domain names, because purchase of the domain names doesn't mean ownership per se, because once a trademark is filed with these authorities, and that is where you have to see the ownership. So it doesn't mean that if somebody purchases a domain, that domain stays with the owner of that particular domain, because there are falsified ways of purchasing it for whatever reasons. Okay, now let's understand the other aspects. Okay, service providers may need to access client equipment and other internet nodes that a client node may need to access, or some other network node for the permission. So whitelist may include, what can it include? Let's talk about this. Whitelist includes address, owner's name, domain name, category code, other information. Other information is very open-ended. Then whitelist may be stored on a client, provides a file. There's an intermediary node, the communication protocols, neutral node. Multiple whitelists may be used at a single or multiple node to accommodate the network addresses, proxy servers, and the like. So multiple whitelists may be distributed by various routers or other nodes to perform checks as a message, web page, and other communication moves along a communication path. So identifying the communication path is very important. Path, in other words, is a 5-letter word which is called as Jalan. That is JALAN, Jalan. And that is one of the use case studies of Impala network. Next, we have whitelist may include a security rating, which is used to indicate whether user interaction is needed. For example, higher security rating, there's an evaluation module to automatically perform the evaluation, which is able to make the decisions in real time. So this is done, this is done. Anything else I'd like to discuss? I'm not getting into, okay, I'll just wind this up. So whitelist stores an association between the protocol addresses, TCP, IP port numbers, category, security rating, domain names, owners, and other data, which is historical data, and the environmental data set. Okay, scenario 11. Okay, I think I'll discuss this. Let's see. So CC per se can be a courtesy copy also. Let's understand this. So basically what we are doing is, when we are fortifying the data, we are creating a blacklist data and a whitelist data. Now the listing itself can be listed, unlisted. These are very simple parameters, people who understand the code process. So I'm not getting into that, but we are just identifying the candidates, putting them into blacklist, identify the candidate, put it into the whitelist, and then do the smart contract around it. That will give a better understanding of how the communication protocols can be garnered to retrieve the data sets in a manner it has to be retrieved, and the same can be part of the IT regulatory programs which are in discussion for the 6G and the like in the near future, or still a lot of programming is being happening at any given point of time, so it can be part of the smart contracts. Okay. So we talked about the communication property. So the communication property includes but not limited to the destination protocol of the portal, port, program name, payload type, country, time, and the like. That is time stamping. If the real property is inside the allowed property, the packet is forwarded. Otherwise, it is dropped, quarantined, or the user is warned. So a part of the use case study of the blockchain would be how the warning signals are sent beforehand, so that the incoming um, threat becomes an opportunity to be resolved with the real data sets. That's something we have to work upon, or rather I would say we already have some use case studies around it for the 60 protocols to be benefited for the development of the communication protocols and stacking over it with the best possible way. Okay, so the traditional firewalls, they're using only 5 filters, that is CRC IP, DST IP, CRC port, DST port, and the protocol. Here, what we are doing is we are adding the program hashing, including the environmental data sets and the other historical data sets, which is one of the prime stuff in the new world order to be developed for the smart contracts. And the same check is performed in both direction when the email is going outbound on the client, inbound on the server. So even if one side is misconfigured, the other side still blocks the traffic. The list or whitelist deny everything that is not explicitly allowed instead of blacklist. Then we have Outlook receives a SMTP message. It pulls real sender IP from the topmost receive header and claim domain from the from header. Okay. So there are certain questions which needs to be answered. Is the protocol port known or marked as email source or trusted? Does the reverse DNS of the match the domain from, or the attachment type is allowed from the sub-organization code? If the answer is no, delete the content, move it to the junk with a red banner, red flag. Honestly speaking, I use red flag for important stuff, so I'm not very sure that is applicable in real life scenarios. But folks, there are a lot of people who like a lot of bifurcation of data sets into the minuscule understanding of anything and everything, which I believe is a very good habit. But honestly, I do that internally, in terms of I'm not very good with putting it on paper. I like it to imbibe myself, and that gives me a better understanding of the subject matter. Because when you are into deep tech, I'm not a big believer on developing the decks just for the folks to appreciate or counter on that particular understanding of whatever has been orchestrated in terms of the modules and the sub modules, particularly when we are trying to draw the communication protocols between the online world and the offline world, whether it's a remote, whether it's part of hybrid, or it is all of these plus the quantum world. If that is one data set we can talk about right now, stating that there is a lot of cosmic work which is being done right now by the nature, and nature is the biggest blockchain. So thank you for watching this out. I have to, perhaps once this is processed, I have to slice this into multiple video sets, because it has a lot of churn which doesn't need to be orchestrated, because I was doing multiple things and taking care of other stuff. Thank you for watching this out, and have a great week ahead. It's a Halloween week, so happy Halloween to everyone who celebrates it. So given a choice, trick or treat, it would be a treat, not a trick. Thank you.